And if you do, you can be arrested, you can be searched without warrant, you can be fined, you can be jailed. And if you criticize food safety without your own scientific evidence, you can be jailed. Where are we living? I thought we came away to a hopeful place, away from fascism, away from communism, a true democracy in the world. America is the leading light. But if America is succumbing to corruption and death of its people, then the rest of the world has no hope, because they are copying America the Great. America the Great that used to be the great since the days of the Boston Tea Party, decolonization. And now America has become the virtual colonialist of the whole world in a very bad way, without moving any forces, without going anywhere, through what's called intellectual property right, owned by Monsanto and the whole gang of thugs. Because they're saying, we're not selling any product. We won't even we'll actually give you GMO seeds. But you have to buy this idea, we license you. And every year you have to buy the same product from us and pay us royalties. These are the true parasites. That's how a parasite lives. It doesn't do any work. It steals. It camouflages. It takes things from everybody else, makes everybody else work. That's a parasite. That's what these companies are. That's what these governments are. They're all parasites. The politicians have become parasites. They keep on increasing their own salaries and people losing jobs, and now they don't have food. And that, I think, is about to happen within the next 3 to 4 years, maybe sooner. Because if you have this many million people unemployed and that there's no hope, then there's going to be starvation on our doorsteps. After all this doom and gloom, I'd like to bring some hope, because I think there's hope. I've just given you the corporate side of companies and governments. There's also the NGOs and the public, the ordinary people, who are also lobbying very hard, but with the wrong method. They're only complaining to the fox that so many of my hens are gone, and the fox is not listening. This is the fox of corruption, the parasite. You cannot be complaining to those people. So therefore, this is a wrong approach. They've been doing this for all these years. These NGOs and intellectuals, professors and universities, all the honest people in desperation, they're saying this shouldn't happen, that should. I was in India when this great controversy on BT eggplant took place. Fortunately, at that time, a moratorium was placed, but now the same minister, and now they're saying there should be a parliamentary committee, and there should be a committee of experts who will decide. Who the hell are these experts? Who are these experts to tell people whether they'll be harmed or not? Why can't people decide themselves what they want to eat? Is their divine right, is their constitutional right, wherever in a democracy, to eat and feed to their families that nature makes, or what they can make themselves, grow themselves with the help of nature. Here is what I think should happen. 2 things, 3 things. 1, people everywhere in the world, and it's described in the last chapter of my book, must demand that we want to eat and feed to our families that nature makes. Therefore, we are asking our governments to ban 5 substances from food production. Those are, and I call them the 5 pillars of food safety: hormones, antibiotics, rendered slaughterhouse waste, genetically modified organisms, and the pesticides that go with them. If you ban these 5 substances, and 3 of which are already banned in Europe. And the other 2 are not yet decided, and they're beginning to ban many pesticides. GMO decision is still being looked at in Europe and India and China and so on. Ban these 5 substances automatically and under existing law. You go and prove that they're safe. Otherwise, we're not going to let you use those under the existing law. If you don't ban them, we will take legal action against our own government, take it all the way to the Supreme Courts and say, implement. US FDA, we're suing you. President Obama, we're suing you, your administration. Implement existing law, the Food and Drugs Act, and it's attached to the criminal code. If you don't, there'll be criminal charges laid against whoever is stopping that by policy. If you're going to go by policy, then make the companies responsible into the future to pay for the damage they will do into the future, which we cannot determine right now. Just like President Obama is doing to BP right now, extracting $20 billion. The same thing should be done for, if you're going to take risk with people's lives and livelihood, then those companies must be made to pay if it's into the future. But the better solution is to ban them now.
I have a point of clarification. So the suggestion is to have the government ban these things. And the practical question becomes, how does one get them to that position? Is it through petition? Or is it through only the legal system where you're filing a lawsuit to force them to do that?
No, actually, it's very simple because the U.S. law permits. You just simply petition the U.S. FDA because they have the authority under federal law to implement the Food and Drugs Act and its regulations. And you say, you petition, here are the 5 substances which have not been proven to be safe under the Food and Drugs Act, implement those. The US FDA has already taken a position because some people are beginning to take some action.
So if it's that simple to implement a petition, how come it hasn't been done? And I guess my question is that we know how influential these multinational corporations can be. Wouldn't they exert an influence to counteract that petition?
Well, it needs to be tested. It's actually being tested in the US. And the FDA's deposition is that the public does not have the right to its own health and safety. US FDA determines it. People do not have the right to eat what they want. This is the US, this is in court, it's before a federal court. But if that happens, and I'm saying have a generic petition to the US FDA, let them take a position in court. It'll be inexpensive. All you're doing is serving a notice petition. And then you go to court and ask the federal court to order the US FDA to implement law because it's their authority under federal law. If they don't, then they should be prosecuted. And this matter will go all the way to the Supreme Court. And that, again, it's not a very expensive proposition. Once the public goes in, and if the public is litigating, all you need to do is, even if you do need money, ask people to donate $1 for this litigation, and you'll have $350 million in the US. So there'll be plenty of money to fight this lawsuit. All you have to do is stand around city corners and say, give me $1, we're going to sue President Obama and or the US administration. And the same thing happened